Hi friends, hope you are doing well. I'm Dr. Ganguly. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to discuss what to do during the first year of your PhD, and this is a very important year. This is in fact the most important year of your PhD, and it's very important to make good progress during this time because then the momentum for the PhD will continue. So the number one fact is that you need to choose your supervisor very carefully, and in some universities this decision may have been made even before you join, but there are a number of universities where you actually come into the university, you talk to some professors, and you finally decide on who is going to be your PhD supervisor. So here it's not only important that you choose a supervisor who matches with your research predilections, with whatever research problem you want to do, but also somebody who matches with your personality type and with your objectives. For example, different professors have different styles. Some have a detached style of functioning, some have a micromanaging style of functioning. Then there are also people who are very publication centric, there are also people who are application centric, and so on. If you are going to the industry, that's your plan after the PhD, you should have one type of supervisor. If you are planning to join a university or do a postdoc after a PhD, you should have a more publication minded supervisor. So these are things you need to decide even before you enter the PhD program. So one of the most important thing is that there should be a wavelength match between you and your PhD supervisor, and this is something which is going to help you enormously. Now the next point is you need to blend difficult courses with simple courses, and in most cases you will have to take a number of courses as a part of a research training program. So what happens is that when you join a typical PhD program, your supervisor may feel that you did not have a very good background in many courses, and he or she may suggest you to take several courses. So for example, if you are somebody who has come directly with a bachelor's degree to do the PhD, you may have a lot of gaps in your training. You may need to take courses in math, in statistics, in computing, in some of your core research fields. Maybe if you are in computer science, you may need to take courses on compilers, on databases. You may need to take courses in psychology, machine learning, and so on. So in fact, graduate school is a very good time to take courses in a more leisurely manner than in the bachelor degree level. And also, if you have changed your university to a better ranked university after your bachelor's degree or master's degree, you will get to take some of these courses at a higher level. So in fact, I often recommend people to take some courses which they have taken in their bachelor's degree again at the new university. So for example, if you have taken a course on structural dynamics at the bachelor level, you can take another such course at the graduate level, and I'm telling you that the level of this course is going to be much more intense than whatever you did at the bachelor's level in most cases. The third point is that meet your PhD supervisor regularly, and this is something which comes hard for students when they are bachelor degree students and even master's degree student. They typically interact with the professor as a teacher. So this person comes, teaches some classes, and goes off. You have a large number of professors. You do not have any personal relationship with a particular professor. But when you are a PhD student, you have an advisor. This person is a very important person in your life. Probably after your mother and father, this is going to be the most important person in your life for the rest of your life if you do finish a PhD. So keep in mind that you should start meeting your supervisor regularly. You should meet him once a week. If that is not good for him, you can meet him every 2 weeks or even in a month, but do establish a schedule in the first year. And if he is not somebody who is willing to meet you at regular intervals of time, keep wandering around in the department where you run into him every now and then, and you can have some conversations with him. So what do you talk with your supervisor? You can ask him about what is your research problem, and you can draw in a lot of knowledge which he has about the research problem. You can ask him for some papers to read. That is always a good way to break the ice with the PhD supervisor. is ask him for paper to read and send you some PDF file, and generally they are very happy to send you not only some papers which they have written in the past, but also some papers which they think are going to get you a head start in your literature survey. So you need to begin your literature survey within the first 6 months of joining the university. That's going to give you a good start in this particular process. Now, if you are reading these papers and you are encountering any problem, you can drop in with him, or you can send him an email and ask for help. So it's very important for the supervisor to know that you are actually working on these problems, because sometimes what happens is that if they have several students, they are teaching classes, they are writing proposals, then they do not even think about the existence of a new PhD student, and this person may essentially spend 1 year loitering around the university and not getting much work done. Now, the fourth point is draft a PhD proposal, and very often you should do this by the end of your first year. This proposal is 2 to 5 pages long, and essentially this contains a title, it contains a brief literature survey, it defines a problem, it lists some outcomes as far as the research is concerned, and also mentally at least you need to be clear about a few papers you are going to write from this project. This may be 1 to 3 journal papers or conference papers, as the case may be. Now, the fifth part is managing your time, and very often students, when they come from a course type of program to the PhD program, they are very happy with the independence they get. They are often getting a stipend, and they don't even have to take a lot of classes like they did in their previous programs. But do remember that you have to manage your time much better. I would say it's a good idea to have a 9 to 5 schedule where you work with a brief lunch break, and if you are not somebody who is amenable to this kind of time, make sure you work 8 hours a day on your research problems and on the problems which you are doing for your PhD. So you may work later at night, which is often the case with many students, or if you are a morning person, you may get up at dawn and you may go to your lab also, but make sure that you put in the requisite time in the lab, because this is more like a job. Now you should treat this PhD degree like a regular job. So just like regular job people work in 9 to 5 schedules, at least make sure that you put in the same amount of time during this part, because do remember you already have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, and so it is expected that you are a mature person. So your supervisor may actually not do a lot of spoon feeding and may not do too much help in terms of research. Now, the next point is to manage your physical health, and this often happens to students, especially when they are moving from their hometowns. They have been studying as day scholars, they have never stayed in hostels or apartments or dorms, is that they have a great difficulty in terms of getting the right food, in terms of keeping their room or apartment clean, in terms of managing their finances, and so many other activities. So what happens is that their physical health, their financial health may actually suffer during this process. So make sure that you put in some time into all these things. You spend some time in going to the gym, you may take up some activity like some sports. That's certainly going to help your situation, and also make sure that you eat proper food. So it's a good idea to learn how to cook if you do not have access to a typical mess facility, or even some campus food facilities may have food which is very inappropriate for PhD students, because it may be too much rich and it may be too high in caloric measures. So again, that's something to keep in mind. Finally, point number 7 is about the mental health situation, and very often you are now going to be just by yourself in a new place, in a new university. So do make sure that you have a few friends, so at least have one good friend, so that this person can be useful to you in any emergency situation. And also make it a point to regularly call your parents and be in touch with your friends via any of the video call mechanisms, and whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's Messenger in Facebook, and so on, because you should establish a routine for talking to people such as your parents. For example, talk to them every day or at least once a week, so that if there is any issue happening with you, you are having some mental distress, you should communicate this very clearly with your parent. And also make sure you communicate all your issues and problems with your PhD supervisor and with the people in your lab. Do not bottle things up, because those can lead to mental problems down the road. So these were some ideas I had for you today. I hope they are beneficial to you. And if you had any particular problems in your life when dealing with the PhD, or you are having problems, do mention them in the comment section below, and I try my best to respond to those comments as fast as possible, and I try to give you my feedback on any issues you may be having. So I'll end this video here. I will see you in a video sometime soon. See you then.